I'm meteorologist John Dawson. This is the YouTube Fox 26 Tropical Update. Thanks for finding us here on YouTube. We're here every day, a little bit after 4 p.m., giving you the latest of what's happening in the tropics. And, well, things are still quiet in the Atlantic overall, so we're not looking for a lot of big changes going on there. And I wanted to just pause for a moment and just sort of revisit that discussion of names in the Atlantic before we sort of dive into more of the discussion on what's happening with our maps and everything. Because back at the beginning of July, I think it was the 2nd and 3rd is when Colin was around. And then when we went through the rest of July, we just really had nothing to talk about, and that's okay. Not complaining about a quiet Atlantic basin, that's for sure. But I did just want to point out that our next named storm, Danielle, will be the 4th one, of course, of the season. And typically, we don't see that 4th one until we get into August. So while we definitely started the season off, we weren't spreading out our storms, you know. Climatologically speaking, this isn't really that far off of a year on what we'd expect with our 4th name coming in the month of August. Now, for sure, though, with all indications are that we will ramp things up and become active when we get to the end of August. So we'll see how that all kind of unfolds. But for now, again, we're talking about the Atlantic. Things are more or less on track, but we do expect overall for the season to end above average. So we'll look for the numbers to really ramp up once we get into the end of August, and for sure into September, which is when we find the peak of hurricane season for the Atlantic basin. So from the National Hurricane Center, the information that we like to see: no tropical cyclones expected to form within the next 5 days. So that is good news at the moment. Now, to the Pacific we go, changing gears a little bit. I'll start before we get into Georgette. Let's start about Frank. This L representing that low pressure that's whatever's left of Frank. Frank quickly lost its tropical characteristics. It was a hurricane 2 days ago, tropical storm yesterday, and now it is no longer being really monitored by the National Hurricane Center because it's not a tropical system anymore. But when we get back down to Georgette, even though Georgette is very small and has not really been a whole lot to talk about in most of its life, it's still something. It's technically a tropical cyclone. So the National Hurricane Center doing all the information on it, and what we'll see is that it is considered a tropical depression right now. And you'll notice here, not expected to become a tropical storm, so not going to increase in its strength. It's just going to hold steady. It's got 35-mile-an-hour winds right now. When we look into Wednesday in the afternoon, 30-mile-an-hour winds. We'll do that again on Thursday, and then maybe it will last until Thursday night into Friday morning, but I don't think it'll make it to Friday afternoon. So not a lot left in Georgette, but still it kind of sort of had a chance to outlast Frank a little bit in its tropical characteristics, although Frank, again, was a hurricane for a while, much larger system overall. So give us a few comments below if you have any thoughts on what's going on in the tropics and how these numbers are. And did you know we're kind of on track, or did it seem like it's been quiet? I'd be kind of interested to hear what you had. And if you want to connect with me more directly, you can find me in my social media at John Dawson Fox 26, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Of course, I'm on all of them. I use them all just a little different. It'd be great if you wanted to connect with me. Don't forget to get that Fox 26 weather app as well. It's not for just people in the Houston area. That'll work anywhere that you might be, and it would be great to get that hurricane information on there as well. Thanks for finding us today. Make sure and check back here on YouTube again tomorrow.